So as far as humans in the game are concerned, we're following two groups. These two, and this guy. And you know what? I'm not really sure who I'm rooting for yet. Welcome to the heart of the stories we tell. My name is Rob, and tonight I will be reviewing Westworld. And that's kind of a lie. I just don't know which I'm rooting for when it comes to humans. I'm still rooting for the robots. Dolores and Teddy, mostly. Tonight's episode, though, had everything, or at least a little bit for everyone. If you're here for the action, we had action. If you're here for the debauchery and the nudity, we had debauchery and nudity. If you're here for the storyline, whoo, boy, did you come to the right place tonight, because I think we got overloaded with storyline potential. But since so much shit happened, let me throw up the two warnings. One for triggers and one for spoilers. Because, oh man, are we going to be talking about some serious shit when we get into the weeds tonight. So once again, it's stop. Spoiler time. Ba-dun-dun-dun. I actually feel underqualified tonight to talk about this episode. I feel like you should have a philosophy major just to come to terms with some of the concepts they pulled in. So I'm going to start with theme and symbolism, and then I'm going to work backwards into storyline itself. I hope you don't mind me going highbrow for a second here. But the theme of tonight's episode is growth. Are you stuck with who you are, especially who people tell you are? It's something I've grappled with in my own life, and I'm willing to bet at least some of you have as well, maybe most or all of you. It's easy to get caught in your own loop. There's an analogy that's way too easy to make with this show. You get up, you go to work, you're told you do this, you do that. The employees at this place, at the Westworld, are stuck in the same type of loop as the hosts. We meet two of these people tonight, a freaky necro-perv and a guy trying to make himself better. But at the end of the day, both of them are stuck in their loop. Are they just who they say they are? And it even goes more than that. I mean, you can go all the way up to Ford with this. And at the end of the day, the thought process going through William and Logan's head in the park is the same one that everyone goes through eventually. The question that all great stories ask: who am I, and what do I want to do with my life? Let's talk about the symbolism of bringing that bird back to life. The idea of giving something back. Well, isn't that what we're going to be seeing shortly? Giving back the free will that something was lost or maybe never had? And what about the symbolism of the voice in her head? What about the symbolism of just the white and the black hat? Was I the only one that noticed that William's hat gets a little darker? And then there's the maze itself. I could probably do an entire episode just on the symbolism of the maze being both an internal struggle and an external struggle. And I'm not going to pretend that there wasn't a whole lot of hints towards the fact that these two are the same guy. The theory's been floating around the internet for a couple of episodes now. I've been trying to skirt it, but I have to admit there was both pro and con in this episode. All in all, as the episodes go on, more and more I think giving this a gold rating is just perfect, although it might actually climb into platinum if it goes long enough. But okay, let's talk about the episode itself for a little bit. The Confederado is a cool concept. The idea of a group of Confederate soldiers that refuse to surrender, I think I saw the same concept on Babylon 5. The idea of Robert Ford coming in and meeting the man in black and sitting down at the table with him and then fixing Teddy, great work, very fun. However, all in all, I'm left asking myself multiple questions about how do people not realize how scary some of these things are? We'll start with William saying, I think she knows that something's the matter. And when Dolores actually said point blank, something in this world doesn't feel right, that would have freaked me the hell out. I mean, imagine a computer game where the computer said, I think I'm a computer. What would your first thought be? And then there's the fact that she was there when the other creator died. We find that out from Ford tonight. And that she was told she's going to destroy this place. Seriously, why is she even still online? My God, that's a scary, scary robot. And then there's exactly what she said. There's a voice inside me that tells me what to do. Well, I mean, if a person told you that, what would you think? It's again pretty scary. Although all of that culminates in one of the most badass and awesome Dolores moments. Something that I wish writers were better at writing, because this should be taught in classes, in film theory classes, on how to write a female protagonist. When she shot dead all those Confederati, and William asked her how she did it, how she went beyond her programming. Her answer was simple. You said that this was a place that people could go to change their lives. So I pictured a life where I wasn't the damsel. If that's not a big analogy directly towards how women are treated in most of these stories, I don't know what is. As for the man in black, his little journey is continuing on, and we get another bit of weird information. The fact that originally the robots were more robotic, they were replaced with what he's calling flesh and blood, even though I'm not entirely sure that's accurate, based on the fact that it was cheaper and easier, that it was a ending goal to the accountants. Now, if the theory holds and he really is William and the man in white, maybe he actually knows those numbers. I don't know. However, think about it this way. The original one, the herky-jerky ones we saw, those must have been the ones that were fully animatronic. So are these more clones than robots? And once again, that leads to the question of, are you a robot? Just a biometric robot? Your brain's just holding programming? In which case, are they any different than us? Once again, back into that, you should be a philosopher to discuss this show. One of the things I found most interesting was at the end of the episode, when he was traveling with Teddy, though, and Ford came in and sat down with him and offered him a drink. You have to realize for a moment here that they're on a first name basis, but Ford doesn't actually use his first name. Is it because it's William? I don't know. Maybe it's all just to throw us off track, but either way, it's a suspicious absence. With that, let's segue to William and Logan. And you know what? First of all, William says it perfectly when they walk into that town. I don't know who made this place, but they must not think very highly of people. And by the end of the episode, I think he realizes he's one of those people that he doesn't think too highly of. Because he has the game down pretty solid. The fact that the whole world is meant to break you down to your most basic instinct, and then make you feel bad about the fact that you're using your basic instincts. However, like everything else, Russian nesting dolls, there's a game inside the game here. I don't fully understand it yet, but if I knew for sure what Arnold was doing, what's going on in Dolores' head, I think we'd all have a much clearer picture of what's going on. But point blank, there is something. And I still think there's something to this safety measure here. So I want to talk about this for a second. They make a big deal about the fact that last episode only one guy can use the axe. But do you need an axe to kill someone? No, you can punch someone to death. And look at what happens to Logan tonight a couple of times. He gets the shit kicked out of him. These robots are punching and kicking and tackling and choking him. And think about that for a second, how dangerous all of those maneuvers could be. They have to get authorizations for explosives, and the bullets can't hurt them, but you can be choked to death. And the other danger of Westworld is one that I am all too familiar with in the real world, going back to the RPG analogy. Yes, you're putting on a face, you're putting on a mask, you're playing a role, but at the end of the day, you have to go home. And if your best friend, you just betrayed him, yeah, oh yeah, it's just a game. But is it really just a game? At the end of the day, is something that feels so real to you going to be labeled just a game? Or are you going to go home with hurt feelings for the fact that you just got choked out and punched by Confederatis, and your buddy William over there didn't shoot him? Which is another thing. William's a pretty good shot, isn't he? Just, more food for thought. There's about 100 other points that we could talk about. Exactly what happened to everyone, how Dolores became such a good shot, exactly what happens when the robots go to protect Ford, exactly what brought more people unconscious into those meat services to be broken down and repaired. Was that a consigned effort? How much does that hooker know about what's going on? And then the storyline I didn't even touch on in talking about this in the last 10 minutes. What about those transceivers? And is there one in Dolores? Or is there some remote control somewhere? Is there a satellite? What the heck is going on here? For right now, what I'd like you to do is leave a comment as to what you think is going on. Was there a clue that I missed? Was there a plot line that you want me to cover more in-depthly? Because as these go on, I'd really like to build a community where we can all talk these things out. And as part of building that community, I'd also like you to subscribe and share this video, and of course thumbs up it if you like what I'm doing here. I'd like to also wish you all a happy Halloween, because as I record this, that's an hour away, which technically means it's mischief night. I hope my car isn't being egged. I'll put a link in the description here and up for my Halloween video. I did a whole series on them. For now, I hope you have a good night, and thank you for joining me to walk through the heart of the stories we tell.